friends. In today's video I am going to use these watercolors that gross hair. They belong to my son. So these are his Crayola watercolors. I just want to say that the quality of these watercolors already, just seeing him paint with them, has changed since I had Crayola watercolors. So these are some that I got him, I think maybe for school, I'm not sure. And I'm going to do a little painting in my sketchbook that I'm working currently. Flip to a new little spread. Here we go. Alright, let's do this. So I'm going to do a little swatching real quick just to test them on the paper. And like I said, the quality of these has changed over the years. These are what I used in high school and when I was learning how to use watercolors, even as an adult, because like I've mentioned in previous videos, I hated watercolors. I thought they were the worst medium on the planet and was strictly pencil or acrylic paint. But then I started to test watercolor or try watercolor using Crayola watercolors, and I loved them. I still have paintings from when I was playing with them and learning with them that I love. And so I thought, oh, I'll give it a try again because it's been, at least a decade since I've used them. And they, anybody who's gotten art supplies for school and such, they know the terror and the horror and the difference between Crayola and Roseart. To me, these are what Roseart feel like. So I did a little sketch already that I'm going to be painting here. I don't like to sketch on camera just because I'm so slow because I never have anything planned. And I am a very, very slow sketcher. I'm not fast at all, especially when I don't know what I'm doing and it's something out of my comfort zone. So with this one, I decided to do a little bit of a scene and a little character design of a girl with an astronaut helmet on and a little spacesuit walking along some plants. And so I did that off camera, and now I'm painting it using these. I don't like the little mixing tray that the watercolors come with, which is the lid. Because of the whole plastic, it's got this weird coating thing, and they don't mix well. It beads up. So I pulled out my ceramic palette to mix the watercolors on my ceramic palette. Yeah, like I said, these felt like Roseart quality paints now. I get that these are kids' paints, that they shouldn't be taken seriously, but it actually makes me feel really bad for my son, who's 10 and wants to paint with me all the time, and he goes through little phases where he wants to be like me and paint constantly, and to me these are more of a training for him to not kind of cross-contaminate the paints. So keeping them clean and organized and not mixing, red in with the yellow or blue in with the yellow or red in with the blue, and just keep the colors separate. But he asks all the time if he could use my paints, and I think there's a good chance I might let him after using these because they're pretty bad. It was still fun though. The colors are very vibrant. They had this really weird, maybe oily texture to them. It's hard to explain. They come out super glossy, and it was like painting with oil. They didn't blend very well on each other. They lifted super easily. My original plan was to do student grade paints on professional paper. That was the challenge I was going to do for this, and I thought Mossery Co I like their watercolor paper, so I'll use that. And I'm glad I did, because I can't imagine using this on my arches or Fabriano paper, because it would have, oh my gosh, it would have been bad. Like, even the little swatch that I had to the side, on the left hand side there, is my hot press Fabriano, or not Fabriano, arches paper. My hot press arches paper that I use for my pet portrait commissions. And it still was on that, so my big struggling areas when it came to layering this was the sleeves, from like a light orangey yellow, and then like adding layers on to kind of darken like the shadowy parts. It was so bad. It's like painting butter on oil. Same thing with the leaves. The leaves were a struggle too. And I wanted to do this for the most part entirely with these watercolors, so I didn't bring any colored pencil into it as much as I wanted to, because in my head that was kind of cheating. I did end up doing a little bit of line art at the end just so you could see more of the character, and I will get to that a little later because I had some issues with that too. So about the actual character that I did, I really want to get better at character design. Just because ever since I was a kid, I've always wanted to write books and illustrate books. And so part of that means drawing characters. And I want to get better at that. So I'm trying to push myself to do it more. And I also want to watch, have been watching videos on character design and also landscapes. Being able to create a landscape without using a reference and painting that exact reference photo, which is what I do now. I want to be able to imagine a landscape in my head, like close my eyes, see this wonderful fantasy scenario with mountains and forests and critters and such, and be able to paint it. But I currently cannot do that, and I want to get to that point, and I want to be able to do that with character designs too. So I've been watching videos on it and trying to practice more, which is where this character came from. I didn't know what to do for the background. Like the sky, I painted it blue and that was it. But I didn't like that, so I painted in some red clouds, and I'm still indifferent towards them. Kinda didn't plan it, didn't know what to do. It was like, I'll throw some more color in here. What's a color I haven't used yet? Ooh, let's do this pinkish red color. That would be great. Here's where I come in with my Micron pen. In my sketchbook, at the very beginning when I first started using this, I decided not to use black. Black is forbidden in this sketchbook. No black pens at all. I wanted to use softer color line art. So this is my, I think it's a sepia Micron pen that I decided to use, just so that way you could actually see bits and pieces of the character. So I outlined her, I think I outlined the dirt on top of her space helmet, and that was it. But doing this was a huge pain in the butt because it didn't want to actually work. So it would just slide around, and I wouldn't be able to actually get the details that you can with Microns. Like, it was like using a really fine, thin paintbrush and doing you know, acrylic on top of this watercolor. Like, it just didn't work out very well, which was disappointing because I liked the character, and I liked how she was coming out, and then the Micron, the poor pen, it's not the pen's fault, it's the paint's fault. The paint didn't like it, so it was a bit of a struggle. I mean, all in all, I like this piece quite a bit, and it makes me excited for what I can do with the actual materials that I use. My Winsor & Newton Cotman watercolors with my Micron watercolors and colored pencil. Like, the actual, if I actually, you know, take the time to put an effort into it instead of using my son's watercolors, because I thought it would be fun to revisit the past with watercolors. Old watercolors whose quality has gone down the hole. I also tried to use my favorite little white gel pen here, and I'm constantly reaching over and brushing off the tip on my cloth. You can see I'm struggling so much with this and like trying to get it to work because it would like gunk up so quickly on these watercolors. And so I think I did the eye, and then I eventually just kind of gave up and then revisited it a bit later because it just wouldn't, I couldn't get any highlights with it on the hair or anything like that, and it was so disappointing. And can I just give a shout out to their paper for being so easy to take paint off of, or painter's tape off of. The sketchbook I was using before, I was constantly ripping the paper when I would remove my painter's tape. But with the Mossery Co, like, I put it down on there pretty firmly, and no tearing, no little bits coming off. Like, it came off so smooth. It was nice. Alright, now it's all done. So here it is, all finished and everything. I do really like how the suit came out, the way that I painted it. All in all, would not recommend anybody ever using these, ever. And I feel so bad for my son who uses these, and may let him use my professional ones. So thanks for hanging out, and I will see you guys next week for my next video.